Part 11 continues with despite considering many options, Ben struggles to decide which technique is right for him to learn. Then the librarian notices his confusion and advises, "There are many techniques, but you must choose the one that resonates with you." Taking the librarian's advice to heart, Ben discovers a technique called Golden Jade Wave. This technique promises to greatly enhance his powers, but it requires an eagle bone for activation. Meanwhile, Lee and Liam attempt to heal the sacred god tree using various methods. Despite their efforts, the tree remains unresponsive. It is only when they use medicine made from the Fountain of Youth that the god tree regains some of its strength. With its partial restoration, the god tree activates a powerful defensive system, preventing further threats from reaching them. A bird beast that had been trying to attack their institution is instantly eliminated. Elsewhere, another bird beast is seen informing an old man that the god tree has recovered. The old man responds grimly, "It didn't recover on its own. Someone must have helped it." Meanwhile, Ben and Roy are rushing to help the distressed red bird, who is being bullied by a girl. The bird repeatedly calls out Ben's name for help. When they arrive, they are shocked to see that the girl is none other than Julie. Julie had intentionally troubled the bird to lurk Ben into meeting her. Upon seeing Julie, Ben smirks and teases her by saying, "You've gotten fat." Annoyed, Julie says, "Don't say that." Ben crosses his arms and asks, "Where did you go after leaving Beijuane Mountain? You just disappeared." Julie explains that, "My father came to pick me up, so I left with him." Ben raises an eyebrow and asks, "Then why did you come back?" As their conversation unfolds, both of them begin to blush. Watching the scene, the phoenix bird sarcastically comments, "What kind of drama is this?" Irritated, Julie turns to the phoenix and starts hitting it. While this unfolds, Ben remains lost in thoughts about his new technique. Suddenly, the ghost appears, the spirit of the warrior whose sword Ben had taken from Beijuane Mountain. Without hesitation, Ben hands the sword back to the ghost and says, "No need to thank me. Just give me a powerful treasure in return." Instead of rewarding him, the ghost begins to beat Ben. Stunned, Ben protests, "I helped you, and this is how you repay me?" The ghost responds sternly, "I did this for your own good. You are too obsessed with power but have yet to truly build your strength. This is your hidden weakness." With that, the ghost vanishes, leaving his sword behind. Ben stands there, contemplating the ghost's words, torn between focusing on increasing his power or strengthening his foundation. Elsewhere, Vilgax is deep in thought, uncertain whether the cousin whose bone he stole was Ben or someone else. The scene shifts. After much reflection, Ben finally makes his decision. He will increase his power. He begins meditating, channeling all his energy into enhancing his strength. Using his treasure, he starts forming the Golden Eagle Spirit formation. At that moment, the spirit of the tree god appears before him, offering him an eagle bone as a reward for his help. With this, his powers will grow even stronger. The next morning, Ben and Julie arrive at the school battleground, where two groups are organizing a fierce battle between Zora's group versus Zeta's group. Zora's group is overpowering Zeta's, proving to be a dominant force. Watching the match, Maria asks, "Is there anyone strong enough to defeat them?" At that moment, Ben steps forward, ready to fight. His opponent fights fiercely, but Ben refuses to back down. Meanwhile, Maria secretly sends a message to the old man, who soon discovers that the god tree's strength was only temporarily restored by the Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth granted it temporary power, he mutters. But it won't last long. Meanwhile, Ben struggles to gain the upper hand in his match. Realizing he needs something stronger, he activates his spirit formation and unleashes the eagle spirit, ultimately defeating his opponent. At the same time, the old man arrives at the sacred place and attacks the god tree. However, though weakened, the god tree is not defenseless. Using its immense power, it destroys the old man. As he perishes, the old man mutters in shock, "So, you've been hiding your true strength all along." After the battle, the god tree calls for Lee. "My life is short," he says. "The fountain of youth gave me temporary energy, but soon, I will wither away. Many forces seek to attack this place. You must send the students to the outer boundary of the Institute for their safety." Lee immediately begins implementing the god tree's instructions. However, just as he prepares to evacuate the students, he makes a chilling discovery. A massive army of beasts has already gathered at the outer boundary of the Institute. Shocked and alarmed, Lee realizes that someone has informed about their plan to them. But who? Before he can act, a huge bird beast launches a sudden attack. Break time. With some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comments. Me on February 14th be like, "I love you." All dreams have meaning. Meanwhile, my dreams be like. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel. And the Institute is shown to be under attack by several beasts. Julie, Lee, Liam, and Ben begin fighting them. Jane also uses his thunder technique, but is unable to defeat the beasts. Then, the tree god creates a portal and urges them to enter it for protection. Meanwhile, a student is seen running towards Liam. Liam, who was guarding the portal, notices him, being chased by several beasts. Liam attempts to help him, but it was a trap. As Liam moves to protect the student attacks him. Despite the betrayal, Liam fights to his last breath. Liam dies in the fight, and Ben arrives to find him dead. He was depressed, remembering the time he spent with Liam. Then, a snake beast appears and destroys the portal with its power. Many people were trapped inside it. Julie was distraught seeing this, and some people came to her aid. Then, Julie decides to leave, to get help from her father. Later, two beasts are shown attacking the god tree in an attempt to destroy it completely. Then, the ghost comes to defend the tree, but the god tree was severely injured, and ultimately dies. They continue to fight the beasts with the ghost supporting them. Meanwhile, Ben, overwhelmed with grief and rage over Liam's death, transforms into an energy beast. With unstoppable power, he charged at the enemies, destroying them with his bare hands. His strength had reached new heights. He activated his Golden Eagle technique, unleashing a devastating assault. The battlefield shook under his overwhelming might. But the beasts weren't stopping. Their numbers kept growing, making it impossible to defeat them individually. Realizing this, Ben and the others decided to unite their strength and prepare to fight them back as one. They all started fighting the beasts more efficiently than before. Ben's treasure suddenly emerges and flies toward the ghost, who had been battling the two beasts with his sword. As soon as the treasure reaches the ghost, he uses it to imprison the legendary beasts inside it. Moments later, the treasure returns back to Ben's head. The ghost was now drained of energy, handed his sword to Ben back and said, "Rebuild this institute." With those last words, the ghost disappeared. Seeing this, the enemies quickly launched an attack on Ben. They knew that the ghost had left, and Ben's energy was nearly exhausted. Believing Ben and his companions were vulnerable, they rushed forward. Ben and the Red Bird fought back fiercely, refusing to back down. Others also fought with all their might. Meanwhile, Julie's father arrived on the battlefield. He declared, "We can rebuild this institute. Those who do not wish to fight, come behind me." As soon as he said this, he created a portal, and many people started moving toward it for safety. But the enemies did not allow this to happen. they launched a powerful attack to stop them. At that moment, Lee appeared from behind and quickly formed a massive shield to protect his companions. That shield's purpose was to prevent the enemy's attacks and escape from here. However, some beasts shattered the shield with their overwhelming power together, and Lee was killed in the process. Seeing this, Finn rushes into battle, his heart heavy with grief. But in his attempt to save Lee, he too is killed. Jane then created a huge energy shield to protect his students. He shouted, "Everyone, get inside." Realizing this, the beasts unleashed their combined energy into the sky to strike Jane down. Seeing the attack, Ben quickly placed a tag on himself, used to attract the energy, so Jane and others would be safe. However, Jane pushed Ben into the portal, removing the tag and placing it on himself. The attack strikes Jane instead. Part 12 continues with Ben awakening in the Stone Village, sometime later of that incident. But even in this place, his mind remains trapped in memories of the battle he left behind. Seeking answers, Ben goes to the tree god. Then the tree god looks at him and says, "You possess a special treasure, one with immense spiritual power." Ben, overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow, listens in silence. Tears well up in his eyes. He had this power all along. If only he had understood it sooner, maybe he could have saved everyone. Consumed by regret, he clenches his fists and makes a vow to the tree god. "I will protect the people around me. I will use my powers to help others. Please, send me back to that world." The tree god agrees, but gives him a task first. "Before I help you, plant the flower you brought from Taigu Mountain here. It will protect this land." Without hesitation, Ben plants the flower, securing the village's safety. As he finishes, Kevin approaches him with a bright smile. "Come play with me," he says. But Ben, lost in grief, shakes his head. "I don't want to play." He turns away, walking off in silence. Later, as he sits alone, deep in sorrow, Max finds him. Seeing Ben's state, he says, "That boy didn't have a solution to your problem, but he just wanted to cheer you up." Hearing this, Ben breaks down. Tears stream down his face as he confesses, "I wasn't strong enough. I couldn't save my friends. It was all because of me." Max puts his comforting hand on his shoulder and says, "You did everything you could, Ben. Don't blame yourself." Later, that night, Ben goes to find Kevin to apologize. Then Kevin smiles and forgives him, and soon, they become good friends. For the first time in a long while, Ben laughs again as they play together. By morning, Ben's resolve had returned. He goes back to the tree god and states, "I will focus on my future now," determined to grow stronger. He asks the tree god to send his spiritual soul to another world, so he can train and increase his power. The tree god, seeing his determination, agrees. A sky portal appears before Ben, glowing with radiant energy. With a deep breath, Ben goes to the other world. Ben reaches the other world through the portal. There he sees two old men, who were being chased by Vilgax's clan members. The clan members are after them, demanding information about Ben's whereabouts. Ben, amused by the situation, smirks and loudly says, "Surround them, so they can't escape." The clan members follow his command and trap the old men. They immediately ask, "Where is the animal milk boy?" Hearing this, the old men point directly at Ben. But before they could take a proper look, Ben quickly changes his appearance. He glares at them and shouts, "How dare you call me Animal Milk Boy?" To cover up his identity, he immediately attacks the old men. During the fight, he hands them his milk bottle and whispers, "Here, take this. You can trade it for treasure." Their eyes widen in greed. They lift the bottle high and claim, "We know the Animal Milk Boy. Give us 15 treasure bottles, and we'll tell you all about him." At that moment, more people arrive at the scene. The old men grin and says, "That animal milk boy is extremely powerful. He's reached the highest level of blood transformation. If you want to defeat him, you'll need to outsmart him." They propose a deal. "Give us the treasure bottles, and we'll tell you his location." After receiving their payment, they reveal he's near the two mountains, training where he jumped last time. Hearing this, the clan members rush toward the mountains. Meanwhile, Ben smirks, quickly changes back to his appearance again, and collects all the treasure bottles, not leaving a single one for them. However, one man among them stays behind and notices what Ben has done and immediately sends a message to his allies. Ben glares at him, clenches his fist, and delivers a powerful punch. Then the man collapses, unconscious. Unfortunately, the message has already been sent. More clan members arrive, launching an attack on Ben. Ben fights back fiercely, using his agility to dodge their attacks and counterattack. The enemies discuss amongst themselves, "How can we possibly end this animal milk boy? Even the huge beast couldn't defeat him." Hearing this, many of them panic and flee. Meanwhile, Julie is shown missing Ben. A companion approaches her and informs, Ben is in another world. Hearing this, Julie's eyes widened. Without hesitation, she decides to follow him. Back in the other world, the remaining clan members launch a fire silkworm attack on Ben. It is a massive net that traps him, restricting his movement. Struggling to break free, Ben channels his power and unleashes his Golden Eagle technique. Now free, Ben eliminates the remaining enemies one by one. Just then, one of the mysterious persons starts attacking Ben using the same deadly technique that killed Liam. Recognizing the attack, Ben dodges at the last moment. Seizing the opportunity, he swiftly snatches his needles. The enemy soldiers, witnessing Ben's overwhelming strength, begin to panic. Some try to flee, but one of their leaders shouts at them, "Where are you going? We leave only after we end him." But Ben, now fully enraged, doesn't give them a chance. He unleashes his full power and defeats them all. At that moment, a huge stone descends from the sky. A powerful voice announces that Ben has won the bronze prize for completing the most feats in the shortest amount of time. Meanwhile, in another location, Vilgax is shown holding a similar bronze prize. A giant octopus-like beast approaches him and demands, "Hand over the bronze prize." Back with Ben. He curiously examines the bronze prize, wondering if it's something edible. He even tries to take a bite to check. The old men from earlier burst into laughter. "You fool! That's not food, it's a powerful treasure." Meanwhile, the enemies plotting against Ben report back to their boss. One of them says, "Ben has reached the highest level of transformation. If we want to end him, we must bring him into our territory." Hearing this, their boss smirks and issues an order. "Send the person who killed Liam. He will take care of Ben." Soon, the killer arrives and confronts Ben. With a cunning smirk, he taunts Ben, provoking his fury. Determined to settle this fight once and for all, Ben follows him straight into enemy territory. Break time. With some interesting memes for you all, comment your favorite one in comment section. When people owe me money, I put the amount in their contact name. I can't marry you, my family is totally against it. Other person. Who are they to stop you? His reply, my wife and 2 kids. Then her. Wait, what?
That sounded naughty.
If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. We are shown 2 new people waiting for Ben at entrance. They plan to eliminate Ben, but he remains unaware of their intentions. Ben, standing tall, demands, "Hand over that boy, or I will destroy this place." However, they ignore his warning and launch an attack. Ben dodges effortlessly, using his power to evade their strikes. Instead of continuing the fight, they turn their attention to something else. "Give us the bronze prize you have." Ben raises an eyebrow. "This useless thing? Why do you want it?" They don't answer. Instead, they send their soldiers to attack Ben. Without hesitation, Ben unleashes his Golden Eagle technique. A powerful wave of energy surges forward, colliding with the approaching army. A fierce battle erupts. Ben fights them all, eliminating any opponent with his powers. Then, one of the enemies crafts a massive trap which looks similar to a tower but powerful enough to capture and kill Ben. Ben, sensing the danger, activates his lion beast technique to break free. But the technique fails. The trap tightens its hold, imprisoning Ben. Outside, they mock him as, "Ben is finished. He's as good as dead." But suddenly, a surge of power erupts. Ben breaks free, shattering the trap into pieces. Not only that, he grabs hold of the trap artifact itself and keeps with him. With blazing fury, he charges at his enemies. However, one of the men smirks and says, "You think that was our only trap? We have plenty more. You will never escape us." At that moment, a mysterious girl appears. Ben recognizes her. He had met her before. But she summons a magical flying scroll, aimed directly at Ben. The scroll glows with strange energy and begins binding Ben. Ben struggles to break free, but the paper grows stronger with each passing second. Meanwhile, in another location, Julie was searching for Ben. She stops people on the streets, asking, "Where is Ben? Have you seen him?" One of them says, "You don't need to search anymore. He must be dead by now." Hearing this, Julie's eyes burn with rage. She teaches that person a harsh lesson and continues her search. Back in the battle, Ben is still trapped due to the magical scroll. He pushes against it, trying to escape, but the girl intensifies its power. Suddenly, Ben's supreme bone begins to glow. At the same time, Vilgax's supreme bone glows in a distant location too. With a sudden burst of energy, Ben breaks free from the magical scroll. He tears it apart into countless pieces. The huge stone appears once again, announcing that Ben has won a new bronze prize. Part 13 continues with, as usual, Ben taking a bite of bronze prize to test its taste and says, "Yuck, this is disgusting." So he puts it back in his pocket. That mysterious girl disappears, realizing that Ben is far stronger than she expected. Suddenly, the boy who had led Ben to this clan returns. But this time, he is not alone. He has brought a group of powerful warriors. Ben and one of them clash fiercely. A battle of sheer power erupts. Ben, sensing his strength, activates his lion beast technique to counter him. But it has no effect. Then the boy smirks, unfazed. Ben grits his teeth, realizing this fight won't be easy. Another one steps forward, activating his dragon spirit to kill Ben. Ben, unshaken, faces him head-on. But suddenly, another enemy attacks Ben from the side. Ben swiftly dodges using his eagle beast technique and engages the first enemy in battle. Meanwhile, Ben attempts to push his blood transformation to level 10. But both opponents relentlessly attack, preventing him from succeeding. Ben fights back, with both of them, simultaneously. With precise timing, he unleashes his golden eagle technique at the first enemy. However, the enemy's dragon spirit blocks the attack. Seeing this, Ben realizes, without reaching blood transformation level 10, he cannot defeat them all. So, he starts absorbing energy from both of his enemies. Watching in terror, the enemy leader, Nick, shouts, "Stop him. If he reaches level 10, we won't be able to defeat him." In desperation, they all force an overload of energy into Ben, which was too much energy for him to handle. Ben winces in pain, his body struggling to contain the power. Instead of advancing to level 10, he becomes severely injured. Realizing his condition, Ben activates his golden wings technique, an escape move he learned at the Institute. With one mighty flap, he takes off, soaring into the sky. The enemies immediately start chasing him. On the other side, Julie sees Ben flying above her. Without hesitation, she rushes towards him. Meanwhile, Nick and his group lose sight of Ben. He had flown too far ahead. Nick, his face twisting in frustration, sets the entire jungle on fire. "Let's see if he can hide now," he mocks. Not far away, Ben, weakened and injured, collapses under a tree. Even now, he tries again to reach level 10. But his body is too weak, his strength almost drained. Finally, he faints. At that moment, King Kong sees Ben unconscious and starts searching for help. A short distance away, he spots Julie. She had arrived, guided by Ben Wolf's sniffing power. King Kong urgently takes Julie to Ben. Julie, upon seeing Ben's battered body, immediately tries to heal him, using her father's medicine. But it has no effect. Desperate, tears fill in Julie's eyes. She whispers, while her voice was trembling, "I know I disappeared for 6 months without telling you. I know I said horrible things to you. I promise I won't do that again. Just, please wake up." With tears streaming down her face, she hugs Ben tightly. At that moment, Ben's fingers twitch. His breathing steadies. He slowly regains consciousness. As his vision clears, he realizes Julie is with him. Just then, Julie hears footsteps approaching. Without delay, she and her soldiers create a protective shield around herself and Ben. Nick arrives, standing before the shield. With a cold smile, he speaks. "Princess, hand over Ben. Do that, and we'll let you go unharmed?" Julie stares defiantly at him and says, "Never." Inside the shield, Ben finally regains full consciousness. With renewed determination, he tries again, pushing his blood transformation to level 10. Outside, Nick and his companions attack the shield, trying to break it. But it's too late. At that right moment, Ben reaches blood transformation level 10. One of the enemies, using his lion beast technique, manages to shatter the shield. The explosion of force injures Julie slightly. Seeing her weakened and vulnerable, the enemies turn towards her, ready to finish her off. But before they can, in the blink of an eye, Ben blocks their attack, protecting Julie. His eyes burn with powerful energy. His aura was more powerful than ever. His voice, filled with unshakable rage, echoes through the battlefield. "You shouldn't have done that." Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. If your partner says, "You're my world, don't get distracted," there are 8 more planets in the solar system. Spider in my room, after listening to my love story. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Ben turns to Julie, concerned. "You should sit down and heal yourself," he tells her gently. Julie hesitates but agrees. She steps aside, allowing Ben to deal with the enemies. Ben steps forward, radiating power. His level 10 spirit flares around him, a force so overwhelming that his enemies freeze in fear. "Impossible," one of them says. "People at level 10 are extremely rare, and incredibly powerful." Panic sets in. Some try to flee, but Ben blocks their path, while saying, "Leaving so soon?" with a smirk. A few enemies gather their courage and attack, but Ben effortlessly dodges their strikes and defeats them all. Seeing this, both the dragon and lion spirit warriors launch a combined attack. A devastating force rushes toward Ben. But Ben channels energy from within, unleashing a counterforce that deflects their attacks and forces them to their knees. One of them, the dragon spirit warrior, his pride shattered, glares at Ben and says, "I will never accept defeat from a traitor like you." Ben repeats, "Me, a traitor?" The warrior clenches his fists and says, "Nick told us, you were one who informed them about our formation and left, so the beasts could attack us. You abandoned us. You are the one responsible for it." At that moment, Julie steps forward and tells you're wrong. Ben isn't the traitor, then she shows. Nick is the real traitor. He's the one who killed Tree God, Liam, and betrayed us. The warrior's face pales. He lowers his head in shame. Now, with the truth revealed, Ben takes out the needles he had stolen in earlier parts. With swift, precise movements, he eliminates the remaining enemies. But in the chaos, Nick escapes. Ben watches him go, but doesn't chase. Instead, he turns to Julie, with a playful gesture on his face. "You, worried about me?" he teases. Julie, crossing her arms, says, "Yes." After a brief moment, Ben decides to spare the dragon spirit warrior. He and Julie return to the city. Back in the city, people whisper in awe about Ben's strength. He had escaped the U-clan's territory, unscathed. As Ben walks, his gaze lands on a familiar face. The girl from before, the one from whom he stole the cocoon. Ben says to Julie, "I'll be right back." Julie watches as Ben approaches the girl, who stands beside her grandfather. The girl steps forward and says, "My grandfather wishes to speak with you." The old man sees Ben carefully and tells, "I have an offer for you, one that would greatly benefit you." Ben leans slightly toward the girl, whispering in her ear, "First, you tried to kill me. Now you care about my well-being." The girl flushes in embarrassment. At that moment, Julie, standing at a distance, sees Ben whispering to the girl. Her expression darkens. She frowns, jealousy sparking in her face. Without a second word, she turns away angrily and leaves. Ben notices her reaction. But before he can follow, the old man suddenly attacks Ben. A surge of power rushes toward him. Ben reacts instantly, meeting the attack head-on. He injures the old man slightly. The girl steps in between them and says, "Stop." The old man, breathing heavily, stops the fight and says, "Listen, Ben, I don't want to be your enemy. I just want a treasure for my clan. And only someone at level 10 can reach it." However, Ben, uninterested, turns to walk away. Seeing this, the old man adds one final offer. "If you change your mind, meet me at Taiga Mountain." Ben pauses. His parents, they were rumored to be there. After thinking for a moment, Ben changes his mind. "Fine. I'll go to Taiga Mountain. But on one condition." The old man listens and Ben continues, "I want your protective shield, and you must help me find my parents." The old man says, "Agreed." Part 14 begins in the original world. Ben sitting near the tree god, meditating. He focuses, trying to push past level 10. Suddenly, a strange glow emits from his supreme bone. At the same time, Vilgax's bone begins glowing too. Both experience severe pain. Sensing the danger, Vilgax's master cuts the bone connection, breaking the link. Meanwhile, Ben's power increases. And he unlocks a new stage of level 10. As the energy stabilizes, Ben bows and says, "Thank you, tree god." He stands up. "I have to go to Taiga Mountain now." The tree god extends a branch toward Ben. "Take this." Ben hesitates. "What is it?" Tree god replies, "It is a piece of my power. If you ever need my help, this will summon me." Ben nods gratefully and accepts it. With the tree god's help, he teleports to the old man's group using a portal. Ben immediately asks Ruby and the others, "Do you have any news about my parents? Are they really at Taiga Mountain?" The old man replies, "Yes, I have people gathering information. We'll know soon. But first, we must go to Taiga Mountain immediately." At that moment, the girl steps forward, as if wanting to say something. But she hesitates. Ben notices. "What is it?" Then she lowers her face, uncertain something bothering her. Ben and the others travel through the teleportation channel, heading toward Taiga Mountain. Curious, Ben asks Ruby, "Why didn't your grandfather come with us?" Ruby replies, "He stayed behind to keep the teleportation channel open. But he sent many other people to help us out." Just then, a man steps forward. His name is Henry. He looks at Ben and says with a smirk, "So, Ruby, this is the useless boy you called to come with us?" Ben frowns but stays calm. Henry crosses his arms and says, "Call me grandfather and I will protect you." Ben gets angry and says, "Take that back, or I won't hold back." Henry refuses, and soon, the tension turns into a fight. Their fight attracts the attention of the all others on the ship. Both Ben and Henry use their spirit powers, causing the ship to shake violently. Suddenly, the ship loses control and falls out of the portal. They all crash into dark seawater. A deep voice rumbles from beneath the ocean. "You made a mistake coming here." Then a massive shark beast rises from the ocean, along with other fierce creatures. It says, "Now, you will all die." Then the shark beast tears the ship in half. As the ship starts sinking, one of their team members, a golden beast, summons a magical carpet and says, "Everyone, get on." They all jump onto the carpet, but the sea beasts refuse to let them escape. Ben and the others fight back, while the carpet flies forward. Soon, they see something in the distance. A ghost ship. Ben says, "We can't fly over the sea for long. Our energy will run out." Ruby agrees and says, "We should board onto the ghost ship." But Henry looks scared. Starts telling, "No. The stories say that whoever boards a ghost ship never comes back." Ben ignores him and jumps onto the ship. While others hesitate, but with no other choice, they follow him. Ben steps inside the dark, empty cabin. Suddenly, the door behind him closes by itself. Ben doesn't react and keeps moving forward. Then he thinks, there's no one here. It's safe. But then, suddenly, chains shoot out from the shadows and wrap around Ben. Ben struggles to break free. Outside, the chains reach out toward the others. Henry panics, turns the carpet around, and flies away. Ben activates his golden wings and breaks free. But the chains catch him again. Using all his strength, Ben destroys the chains. But he collapses, exhausted, along with King Kong, because of using all of his power. Sometime later, when Ben wakes up, he explores the ship. In a dark corner, he finds strange writing on the ground. As he touches it, a vision appears. A mysterious man stands near the shore, dropping small boats into the water. The boats transform into ghost ships. Ben feels, this is amazing, and gets lost in his thoughts. Soon, Ben arrives at the shore of Taigu Mountain and looks around. He notices others but Ruby isn't with them. Before he can react, a portal opens. A ghost ship similar to the one before appears. Ben grabs it and keeps it with him. But a sudden attack was launched at him. But he dodges it just in time. He turns around and asks, "Who are you?" Then a warrior steps forward, surrounded by a water dragon spirit. "I'm Rex," he says. "I want that ghost ship. Hand it over." Ben starts saying, "If you want it," while moving forward, and increasing his energy, continues to say, "Come and take it." Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one, in comment section. When surgery came from the topic that you left, optional during studies. Messaged, "I am here for you." Reply, "Thanks, I'm going through a lot of things, so it means a lot." Between, "I lost all my contacts. Who's this?" His reply, "I am your Uber driver. I'm here to pick you up." If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Rex, with his water dragon spirit, launches an attack on Ben. Ben quickly counters, using his lion beast technique, blocking the attack with ease. Seeing this, Rex moves in closer and attacks repeatedly, trying to land a hit. But Ben dodges every single one. Rex smirks. "You're just a human. You can never defeat someone from the strongest Sea clan." With that, Rex powers up and starts overpowering Ben, pushing him back with sheer strength. Ben decides to fight back using his Golden Eagle technique, but Rex anticipates it, dodging effortlessly and strikes him. Due to this, Ben gets injured. Just then, a mermaid appears and attacks Rex. She also wants the treasure and isn't about to let Rex take it. Rex and the mermaid begin their own fierce battle, giving Ben a moment to heal himself. As he regains his strength, Ben notices the door to the treasure cave has opened. Wasting no time, he moves forward. But before he can reach it, Henry and the others ambush him. They never cared about Ben, they just wanted the treasure for themselves. Ruby steps forward, trying to stop them, but a massive stone falls, hitting Ben hard. He sinks into the depths of the sea. As he sinks, a thought crosses his mind. Even at level 10? I can still be defeated. I need to become stronger. Then, beneath the water, King Kong gestures toward something. A mysterious cave. It has two sides, one burning hot and the other freezing cold. Ben immediately realizes this is the perfect place to train. Determined, he heads inside and begins his cultivation training. Meanwhile, Vilgax is in the middle of a fight with a giant bird. He strikes it down, killing it instantly. His master watches with disapproval. That bird was meant for training, not for killing. Vilgax coldly replies, "The weak have only one fate, death." Hearing this, his master's eyes darken. "If that's what you believe, then fight me. If you win, I will open the secret door for you. But if you lose, I will stop training you." Vilgax smirks and says, "Fine. I accept." In another place, Julie was shown talking to her father. He tells her, "We are reopening our clan's former territory. Many young warriors will come to train. You may invite someone if you wish." Julie nods. "Yes. There's someone I want to call." 2 years have passed. Inside the mysterious cave, Ben has grown stronger, both in power and size. His cultivation level has reached new heights. For the first time in 2 years, Ben finally steps out of the cave. King Kong walks beside him. He looks around and spots Ruby and the others. They're still here, waiting for the treasure. Because after Ben fell into the sea, the treasure cave door had closed. Ruby stares at him, eyes wide with recognition. Henry says, "Oh, you're still alive? We left you behind last time." Ben's eyes narrow and he says, "This time, I won't be the one left behind." Henry smirks and says, "We only used you. We never had any real information about your parents being in Taigu Mountain." Ben gets angry and looks at Ruby. But she looks guilty and says, "Ben, I was about to tell you the truth." But Ben ignores her. Henry suddenly attacks, but Ben, with just his fingers, defeats him effortlessly. Henry panics and tries to run, but Ben strikes him down, killing him on the spot. Without a second word, Ben boards his ghost ship and leaves. Part 15 continues as Ben sails across the ocean. He sits down to eat. But suddenly, a mysterious girl appears and starts eating his food. Ben's eye twitches in frustration. "Hey, that's mine." The girl simply smiles. Then, with a wave of her hand, she magically creates even more food. Ben's anger fades and says, not bad." As they eat, the girl suddenly notices the talking stone on Ben's head. She points at it and asks, "What's that?" Ben leans back and starts telling about it. Ben learns how to use his talking stone from Lucy. She explains everything to him, and later, Ben uses it to defeat several others and collect their treasures. Lucy then asks Ben if he knows someone with a lot of treasure. After thinking, Ben takes her to Rex. The moment Rex sees Ben, he gets angry and attacks him. But Ben dodges and avoids the attack. Lucy, however, jumps in and attacks Rex hardly, and steals his treasure. Later, when they start dividing the treasure, Ben notices Lucy keeping the most valuable ones for herself. He doesn't agree with this and stops her from taking that valuable treasure, because he also knows how rare and powerful it is. Lucy gets annoyed and says, "If I hadn't taught you how to use the stone, you wouldn't have been able to get these treasures." To which Ben responds, "What if I never had the stone in the first place?" Before Ben can say anything more, Lucy suddenly notices a group of people coming toward them. It turns out they are the original owners of the treasures they stole. Taking advantage of the situation, Lucy tricks Ben, grabs the most valuable treasure, and escapes. Ben is left confused. Why did she leave everything else behind and take only that one item? Just then, the group of people reaches him and start shouting, "How dare you steal from us? That girl isn't here to help you now. You have no chance to escape." Hearing this, Ben gets ready to fight. He attacks, but one of them creates a strong shield and blocks it. A beast among them smirks and says, "We're all stronger than you. You haven't even reached the level of spirit transformation that we have. There's no way you can defeat us." Ben attacks again, but they block it easily. Their strength is overwhelming. Realizing he's at a disadvantage, Ben uses his full power, but they counter it with their own power. Then he starts to feel exhausted. Just then, Rex arrives. Ben sees an opportunity and shouts, "Attack them, Rex. Take this treasure as advance payment, and I'll give you even more." The group immediately assumes Rex was also part of them, and they all turn their attacks on him. Taking this chance, Ben spreads his golden wings and escapes. Rex, furious, chases Ben using his dragon spirit, but Ben is too fast for him. Later, they all notice a glowing mountain in the distance. They wonder, was it Ben who triggered it? Meanwhile, in another place, Vilgax and his master walk through a jungle. Vilgax suddenly attacks his master, knowing that if he wins, his master will have to open the secret gate as promised. But his master easily blocks his attack. Then he calmly says, "You can't achieve your goals by attacking others unfairly." Vilgax smirks and says, "Maybe, but if hurting someone helps me reach my goal, then I'll do it." He attacks again, but his master dodges. His master says, "I have never harmed anyone to achieve my dreams. That is why no one can truly harm me." Vilgax doesn't agree and attacks again, but his master escapes once more. Seeing his master remain unharmed, Vilgax finally lowers his head and says, "You're right, master. I won't do such things again." Back in the cave, Ben starts meditating, realizing that he needs to become stronger. The cave is full of powerful energy, making it the best place for training. After finishing his meditation, he notices the glowing mountain again. He feels like it's calling him. Maybe there's treasure there. He walks toward it, but suddenly, the same group of people appear and attack him again because they also want the treasures. Ben doesn't hesitate and fights back. This time, Rex joins the battle. But unlike before, Ben is no longer weak. His training has made him much stronger. Rex shocks and uses his water technique on Ben, but Ben survives easily. Realizing that beating Ben won't be easy, Rex starts provoking him, trying to make him lose focus. Just then, Ruby arrives and says, "Ben, they brought you here on purpose." Ben glares at her and says, "Why should I believe you?" Because he still doesn't trust her. Ruby explains, "Do you remember last time when we came here? The treasure gate opened automatically when you arrived. Normally, it never opens for the last 2 years." Rex, noticing that Ruby is telling Ben too much, suddenly attacks. But this time, both Ben and Ruby fight back. After the fight, Ruby continues, "When you came to this place last time, you broke a seal. That's why now you can open the gate." Before Ben can respond, Rex attacks again, creating a massive tornado. But Ben quickly absorbs the energy releasing from that tornado, and flies toward the cave using his golden wings. As he leaves, he looks back and says, "Thanks, Ruby." Seeing Ben escape, Rex and others start chasing after him. Ruby, now determined, calls her own companions and says, "Let's go after them." Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. When you first meet me. Later, when you get to know me. What do you call a sensitive, good-looking and caring man? A single. That one girl who always reacts on my posts. Me be like, "This is our marriage certificate, sign on it." When your parents make a joke and you need money. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Ben and the others use a portal to reach the treasure hall. As they enter, they are amazed to see countless powerful treasures shining all around them. Suddenly, his treasure speaks to him, telling him to go to the pool. Surprised, Ben asks, "You can talk?" The treasure responds, "Yes, I can." Just then, Ruby arrives. Ben looks at her and says, "You've told me a lot of things and helped me, but that doesn't mean you'll always be my ally. Our paths are different from each other." Ben dips his fingers into the cold water. Immediately, a powerful energy rushes out, making him stare in shock. Curious, he jumps into the pool, only to freeze instantly. The water is unbearably cold, filled with thick layers of ice. Using his golden wings, Ben breaks free. Meanwhile, his talking treasure points toward another treasure hidden deep within the pool. Without wasting a single moment, Ben starts going in that direction. At the same time, Rex and others notice the powerful energy coming from the pool. They too jump in, hoping to claim the treasure for themselves. Meanwhile, Ben's treasure begins absorbing energy from another treasure. It speaks again, "I am taking its power. You need to distract them and keep them away." Ben frowns and says, "Why should I do that?" Then the treasure replies, "If you help me now, I'll help you later." Trusting its words, Ben turns to face Rex and fights him using his talking stone. Rex summons his dragon spirit and attacks, but Ben channels some of his energy into the stone and strikes back. Rex dodges and quickly grabs the treasure, trying to escape. Realizing what's happening, Ben unleashes different techniques at once to stop him. But Rex is fast and avoids every attack. In the end, Ben manages to snatch the treasure back. Just then, a new portal opens. Seeing Ben in trouble, his treasure, now full of energy, rushes to his side. Rex notices this and, without wasting time, tries to steal the treasure again. He launches another attack on Ben. At that moment, Ruby arrives to help. She fights against Rex, but drains her strength due to this and loses balance due to shock waves. Ben sees her struggling, quickly steps in, safely taking her inside the portal. Ruby looks at him with gratitude, says "Thank you, Ben," but Rex doesn't stop and follows them through the portal. Inside, they all see something shocking, a massive rock whale. Before their eyes, the whale transforms into several powerful treasures. A fierce battle begins as everyone rushes to claim them. Ben also wants the treasure. Ruby and her companion approach him, and then Ben says, "Distract them so I can grab it. We'll split it later." They agree, and the fight begins again. Ben goes after Rex and Mermaid, taking down many enemies along the way. He defeats several warriors and finally gets the one of the treasure. But as soon as he touches it, a strange force rushes into him. He feels like something is trying to take control of his body. Alarmed, Ben immediately throws the treasure away. Everyone else chases after it, but Rex stops, watching Ben carefully. Something isn't right. Why would Ben give up the treasure so easily? While Rex lost in his thoughts, that mermaid blocks his path and tries to attack him. But Rex fights back and is about to kill her, then Ben suddenly steps in and saves her. Ben shouts, "Go from here," and gets ready to face Rex again. But Rex also doesn't back down. He launches another attack, but something unexpected happens. Ben activates his level 10 heavenly transformation. Power begins rising in Ben. Suddenly, a new portal opens and he gets dragged into it. Then the entire place begins to shake and crumble. Ruby's companions rush to her and take her away as the ground collapses. But Ben, now is seen in a completely different location. He looks around, confused. He has no idea where he is. Before he can react, a group of beasts attacks him. But Ben is much stronger now. He defeats them all with ease. Just then, the spirit of a 9-headed snake appears. It launches a powerful attack, wounding Ben and sending him flying into another cave. Later, the real spirit of the rock whale appears before him. It gives Ben the true rock whale treasure, saying, "Your heart is pure. You do not have any bad intentions, so I give this to you." The spirit then tells him, "This cave holds real rock whale blood. Stay and cultivate here, it will make you even more stronger." Ben, after listening, begins meditating there. Over the next 10 days, he continues his mediation, learning a completely new technique. Though difficult to master, he pushes through. Finally, he steps out from the cave. Outside, Ruby and her friends are waiting for him. Ruby looks sad and anxious, worried that something might have happened to Ben. But then, she sees a boat approaching. Ben is on it. The moment she sees him, her face lights up with happiness. She realizes something: she has started to like Ben. Part 16 will come soon, and if you don't want to miss out, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more amazing parts in future. Thanks for watching.